Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Analogue, a hate story. I'm still sick, but my voice is feeling a lot better, which is kind of strange considering I talked longer than I meant to on the last episode. But hey, at least we're getting through this together, and I think we may be almost finished. Not sure, but okay. So there isn't much left to unlock right now. We've got block 4 in the morning dress. Normally my conversations with Mute are of a rather frivolous nature, gossip in the affairs of some of the more important noble houses, as well as her trying to bait whatever she is able out of me. While I think such a flow of information is valuable, so I might pass news to my husband that he might not otherwise hear, I would not consider her attitude to have any resemblance to seriousness. Previously, I had assumed that this was simply impossible due to her nature. While I do not really understand how, despite her explanations, anyone could live inside a computer screen. She says that she is an artificial person. I had assumed that perhaps her absence of a soul prevented her from feeling serious emotions. Ordinarily, she wears incredibly bold, colorful clothing, her golden hair absurdly well adorned. For the past month, however, she has been uncharacteristically humble, wearing an unappealing brown dress with her hair undecorated. My curiosity got the better of me at last. Please, I have wondered. Why are you so attired? It is unlike you, I asked. She gave me an odd look. Huh? She asked. It's a morning dress. My voice cracked. That much was obvious, and not particularly the thrust of my question. Did you not tell me you were thousands of years old and that you have no family? For what reason are you wearing mourning? She gave me an annoyed look. A friend of mine died, okay? No, I don't have a family. It's always been just me. But this guy was a really good friend, and he definitely deserves that kind of respect, she said. We were super close. Do you wish to tell me about him, I asked. She gave me another look that I couldn't quite read, but seemed somehow sad. Nah, she said. I don't want to talk about it. Not now. I miss him too much. Hey, I'm going to go now, okay? I'll talk to you later. I said goodbye to her and she disappeared from the computer screen, but as she did, I could have sworn that I saw her start to cry. Well, yeah, she probably did see me cry. I had a really hard time talking about it then, especially not to my mistress. I really didn't mean to be so vulnerable in front of her. That just isn't proper. Kind of embarrassing, really. I'm sure you've already guessed, but yeah, the man in question was Miss St. Jung. Strictly speaking, there was no real mourning obligation. It's not like I was really family. Still, the man was the closest thing to a husband to me. I mean, don't take this the wrong way. It's hardly scandalous. I'm not a real woman. I'm just a computer. But we had a really close relationship. So yeah, I thought it'd be appropriate if I honored him like he was. He never married, so it's not like anyone else would. I just figured the man deserved that much. He totally deserved at least that much. Okay. So after this, you are basically unable to get anything out of Mute regarding the blocks and helpful notes. I discovered, and there's no way to bring Hyun A back from Core 2 so that you can access her, which I've also discovered the hard way. So I unfortunately had to use my skill with the internet and look it up. And I have to ask all of these questions to Mute. How are you doing? Look, the questions are for her. They're perfectly straightforward. I don't think any need explanation. Take them to her yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. It's probably best if you hear it straight from the crazy bitch's mouth herself. She'll probably give me that response no matter what I do. How do you feel about me? Okay, so I can't help but notice that you had plenty of time, but never did go back to Hyun to get the whole story about the murders. Why is that? Is it because you don't believe me even enough to ask her? No. Oh, well, that's good. Do you think it's just not important enough to ask about then? No. Oh, okay, I was hoping you'd say that, honestly. All I can think then is that you'd rather just hear it from me, am I right? Yes. So we can still get it from her! And hear it from her side. Even though Hyun is disabled. Yes! Oh, alright. I just figured it's an awfully bold thing to claim about someone you've already met, so it's better to hear it from her directly. But if you do trust me, then sure. Well, I guess there's not really much chance for asking her yourself now. I guess it'll have to be from me. Yeah, 'cause I accidentally disabled her 'cause I didn't do things right, because I'm not good at things. So I'll leave it up to you. Are you sure you want to go through with this? Yes, I'm sure. There's nothing else I can do right now. Okay then, I think you've made the right choice, but, well, no turning back now. You don't want to read all her diaries. It's just really grating whining. Even I couldn't bring myself to read much of it. But here, there's one in particular I think you should see. And I swear, this isn't her own words. Take a look at that one, and come back to me when you're done. Alright, we got something. I think I left off on question 2 or 3. Yeah, question 2 is where I left off, so I can still ask her stuff. And still get what I need. I'll kill them all. Dear Diary, I was far too feverish to do any real cooking, so my servant was doing all the work for me that night when Father came in. I think he was drunk, or maybe just tired, or stupid. You know, child, he said to me, you grew up to be a wonderful daughter. I was shocked to hear him say that and waved my servant out of the kitchen. I'd never heard even the slightest indication of that before. For the briefest moment, it even made me happy to hear that. That surprised me, that I actually felt that way. As a kid, I never would have wanted his approval. So why now? He continued to make me wonder when he asked, Do you remember what you were like as a child? I nodded, but I wasn't certain I did. You were so temperamental. You argued all the time. You didn't want to get married when the time came. You just didn't ever know your place, you know? That's right, I didn't. That was back when I thought there was a point to being defiant. Why was that, I wondered. That's the part that amazes me now. I tried to think of a reason why I might want to be defiant, why I valued independence, and at first I couldn't even think of anything. I'd forgotten. I had forgotten entirely. Don't tell Yoon Suk, but it really scared me. You were always the family's best hope for prosperity, but that attitude of yours, I thought I never managed to disavow you of those crazy, uncivilized ideas of yours, he said, while I tried to think of what they were. There were times I thought it was a mistake to have hatched you, but you came through. You really did. I know it must have been painful, but I'm proud of you. Then he patted me on the head. You turned out to be a good girl. That's all I wanted to say. It was hard raising you to be a proper woman, but you've turned out to be perfect. Thank you, he said. I stared, speechless, and I tried to remember what crazy uncivilized ideas was he talking about. Thinking back to those days, or back to before I was frozen, I tried to remember. I had dreams of what adulthood would be, but they were so unimaginably different from what the reality turned out to be that they seemed impossible, completely impossible, nothing more than childhood fantasies without a shred of realism to them. I tried to think of what they were, to imagine them. In those dreams, I was strong, independent. I wasn't just a wife in those dreams. I had a job, working as the ship's engineer, following in the footsteps of my father, my real father. I wasn't married in those dreams. I was happy just to go on dates with boys my age, in the ship's plaza, and fall in love before making any commitments. I dreamed of being free. The more I thought about it, the more I was certain. That's what those dreams were about. That's what I'd wanted. But father, Kim Jung-soo rather, had made sure to disavow me of those notions. I learned to stop arguing, to stop trying to fight, to stop dreaming of those things. In other words, I learned how to be a proper woman. And he was proud of that. Proud of destroying my dreams, and now I would die under the house of that man, silenced, broken, hopeless, and unloved. I was overwhelmed by the strongest feeling I had ever felt in my life, the deepest bitterness, the most powerful resentment I could imagine. I looked at the knife near my hand and wondered, could I kill him? Before I died, could I at least have justice? I tried to lift the knife. My hand twitched, and it was too hard to keep a grip. I was just too weak. I'd never be able to do it. He smiled at me and said, Sorry, please, go ahead and keep cooking. I won't distract you more. Then, just as he was about to go out the door, he added, Take care of yourself. At that moment, I vowed that I would. I wouldn't worry anymore about all those people who had hurt me. I'd take care of it myself. I couldn't stab him to death. I was too weak for that. But then I remembered there were other ways. If I disable life support, I can kill him, and all the others too. It'll be quick, it'll be easy, and not one of them don't deserve it. All I need to disable it is the admin password. It's perfect. Well, okay then, so you've seen it all for yourself. In her own words, no less, that bitch is just insane. Completely insane. So you see, that's why I hate her. She killed everyone. She killed my master, her husband, the Emperor himself. She killed her own father, and she killed thousands of perfect strangers. She might seem pitiful, but listen, she's crazy and she's a monster. The last person to love her, suffocated to death because of her. Well, you know what? That's sociopathic. That's appalling. It's damned unforgivable. I really hope you don't feel any pity for her after all that. I do, though. Are you serious? What is wrong with you, you stupid woman? You'd feel pity for her, over her victims? You don't feel bad for her husband? You don't feel bad for her father? You don't feel bad for her brother? You don't feel bad for Sojin? You don't feel bad for the Smith family's little daughter? You don't feel bad for thousands of hapless peasants? Seriously, you'd feel bad for her when there are the real victims here? Yes. You dumb bitch, can't you try to at least be a little bit rational here? Look, if you still can't be convinced, at least you should see those log files of mine. They're kinda dry, but I think you should read them. Trust me here. Come talk to me when you're done with those. After that, well, we've got some things to discuss. Last midday report, maintenance logs and camera footage. Midday report for 3/4 of the 322nd year. Reactor status, nominal, 97% efficiency. Don't worry about the fluctuation, it's fine. Temperature approximately 23.2 Celsius. One birth recorded at 10:35 to King Ji-hun. The market opened today at 9 with no complications this time. Foot traffic on the plaza at noon was 296 persons, slightly below expectations. Nothing else to report. Looks like it's gonna be a dull day. Come talk to me when you've read the others. Okay. Mute maintenance mode enabled, now performing emergency log recordings. Life support manually deactivated by admin. Warning, 30 minutes of oxygen remain. Warning, 25 minutes of oxygen remain. Performing copy of mute source to new file, mute2.c. 7 minutes until complete. Performing copy of mute source to new file, mute2.c. 6 minutes until complete. 9 minutes until complete. 20 minutes of oxygen remain. 30 minutes until complete. Warning, failed login attempt by disabled user account Ru In-ho reporting to admin. Warning, failed login attempt number 2 by disabled user account Ru In-ho reporting to admin. Warning, failed login attempt number 3 by disabled user account Ru In-ho reporting to admin. Performing copy of mute source to new file mute2.c 3 minutes until complete. Warning, failed login attempt number 4 by disabled user account Ru In-ho reporting to admin. 15 minutes of oxygen remaining. Failed login attempt number 5 by disabled user account Ru In-ho reporting to admin. 5 failed login attempts detected on terminal ID AA1112. Terminal is now disabled. Copy mute source to new file mute2.c has been completed. New shell script saved running as admin. Initializing synapsis scan. Sorry, sweetie. Hang on tight. This is going to hurt a bit. Love, Dad. Warning, 10 minutes of oxygen remain. 5 minutes of oxygen remain. 0 minutes of oxygen remain. No life signs detected on board. First warning until low power mode is engaged. Synapse scan completed. Data output to HUN-A-3.bin. Synapse data HUN-A-3.bin converted successfully to HUN-A.core. Warning, this interface is still highly experimental. Make frequent backups. No life signs detected on board. Second warning until low power mode is engaged. Build targets mute2.c, HUN-A.core, output is HUN-A, compiling done. Success, personality HUN-A is now activated. No life signs detected on board. Final warning until low power mode is engaged. Logging disabled, engaging low power mode now. Yeah. And that's the whole story. She killed everyone, made a copy of my code, shoved her own memories into it, then tried to leave me disabled forever. If you hadn't come along, well, I might as well have died with them. So no, the thing you talked to, she's not a human. The real HUN-A, the pale bride, suffocated to death at the same time that all her victims did. The one you know, is just a horrible perversion of me with all her memories. Does that change how you feel about her? Not really, but I want to know why you hate her. Let me put it to you this way. Does she still defend the real Pale Bride's actions? Yes. Well, there you go then. As far as I'm concerned, they might not really be the same person, but she's still just as bad. I hate that awful bitch exactly as much as I hate the real thing, I assure you. It just makes me feel so violated. Fuck her! Transcribed from the security camera logs of the Kim family storage house. I activated the security camera on the orders of Kim Jong-soo, who has been locked out of his own storage shed by his daughter. All I can do is monitor it. I can't actually open the door. The Pale Bride is sitting in front of the computer screen near a large egg-shaped object. She wears an ugly hanbok, her braids have fallen out, and otherwise looks as miserable as ever. I personally only get a brief glimpse of her, then I get turned off. The security camera still runs though. A loud knocking sound can be heard from the door. Kim is shouting for her to unlock the door. He says he'll forgive her for stealing the key if she opens up right now. She doesn't say anything. The banging continues. She keeps typing code on the screen. After a while, the banging starts to slow down, and Kim's shouts are too quiet to be made out. She staggers towards the egg and lies down inside it on a pile of broken glass. After a few minutes, the crazy bitch gasps for breath, then stops half a minute later, dead. The same thing must be happening everywhere else on the ship, thousands of people suffocating to death. Her terminal continues to beep, the progress bar flashing, even after her death. Alright, so, is that it then? If there's something else you'd like to show me, now's your chance otherwise. There's something else. Okay then, sure, no rush. Just go ahead and show me and you can let me know when you're all done. Well, look, do you see now? She died in the end too, and that's fine. If she wanted to kill herself, well, it'd be screwing up her duties as a wife, but whatever. Why did she have to take everyone else with her? She killed everyone. She doomed everyone to an awful, suffocating death. For what? You know what pisses me off most of all, though? She never even said a word to me. Not a damn word. Fine, maybe she thought her life sucked. Maybe it's like those diaries of her say. She was horribly dying and nobody would listen to her. And you know why? Because she never even said anything. She was my master's wife. It's not like I wouldn't. All she had to do was say something to me and I would have tried to help. And I'm absolutely sure she knew that, so there's one conclusion. She was just plain crazy, and deep down she knew it. She never talked to me because that'd just break her whole stupid fantasy. She was crazy, and because of that she just went and killed everyone. Everyone. I want you to look me in the eyes and tell me that you'd rather sympathize with that crazy bitch, that monster, than any one of the thousands of victims who died just like her. Can you really do that? That's a difficult question, because I already know how how things were with Hyun-ae. And you don't. And I want more logs out of you. Alright. Good. Nice of you to finally come to your senses, even if it did take all that. That's a relief. I need more logs out of you. Where was I? Not there. Mutes questions. Question 3. I can't ask her any of these now. Oh man. Now what do I do? Alright, so, is that it then? If there's something else you'd like to show me, now's your chance. Otherwise, that's everything, I guess. Yeah, okay, I kinda figured as much. So here we are, I guess. You've got everything you've wanted. So, what now? You're just about ready to go, I expect. Okay, let me ask you something. Would you even consider the possibility of taking me with you? Yeah. Well, that is nice. But see, here's the thing. I'm bound to the ship. I can't exactly just leave. My programming doesn't say, "It is your most important duty to ensure the security of the Muganagwa unless everyone's dead, in which case just do whatever." No, it's just, well, I can't. So, like, the rational part of me knows that it's going to be terrible and lonely once you go, all alone in space forever. It's just, you know, whenever I think about it, I'm just overwhelmed by my feelings of duty, of how it's so important to stay around for the ship. Sure, I know rationally that it's stupid, but that doesn't matter. You want to know why, despite not being human, I'm identified as a woman? Because I'm fundamentally irrational like one. Call it emotional, call it hard-coded directives, the difference doesn't really matter, does it? Of course, here's the real cruel joke. If I was actually a woman, I'd be so simple. I mean, think about it. I'm pretty much just like a widow, right? I mean, everyone who I had a duty to serve is all dead. A real widow could at least do the right thing and kill herself. I couldn't ever bring myself to do that. I mean, I know for a real woman it'd be the right thing to do after being robbed of her purpose, but damn my programming, I can't do it. So, that's my problem. I can't leave. Rationally, I know I'll be lonely, but my feelings say it's impossible. I can't kill myself. Rationally, I'd applaud any widow who had the courage, but my feelings say it's impossible. It's not my fault, okay? I was just programmed this way. Anyway, there's nothing you can do for me, and you've got what you came for. This is it then. This is goodbye. Hey, look, can you do me one favor? Promise me something. Can you tell the Emperor of Earth, or whatever his title is, about what happened to the Muganagwa? Let him know that everyone was murdered, and let him know who did it. And you know, the coordinates? Tell him the ship's still here, okay? Maybe someone else will come to bring the ship back. Doesn't have to be now, although it'd be nice if it happened sometime in the next century or two. I don't want to be floating out here in space like this forever. Alright? Well, that's all. Regardless of how I feel about you, it was nice talking to someone from outside the ship. Wish it was under better circumstances, but whatever. I'll drop you to the console now. You can take all the records with you by typing download. Well, goodbye. Dang it, I still didn't get her to take with me. I think it's because I argued with her on the Pale Bride. But, ideally, you are supposed to be able to take one or the other with you. Or both, if you can figure out how to do that. But, yeah. This is the end. Well, if you would have gotten an AI, they would have appeared on that blue screen right over here. And, yeah, would have been nice. But I'm not very good with mute. I'm able to do Hyun-A's story just fine, but good work on recovering the Muganagwa files. I just spoke to the sponsor's representative on audio. He sounded really pleased with what you delivered. I've credited your account with a standard payment. And basically, you're successful. But yeah. Ending 3! Which means that you leave without either of them. Completion rate this time, 70%. Total completion rate, 98%. And that's Analogue, a hate story. I suggest doing Hyun-A's route before you do Mute's. Or you do Mute's route before you do Hyun-A's, I guess. I don't know. Whichever is your preference. Because Hyun-A decided to kill them for a lot of reasons. And even though her diary entry says only one reason, there was a lot more to it, but you'd have to talk to Hyun-A about it. So, yeah. This was Analogue Hate Story. I'll make sure to upload Hate Plus as soon as I'm able to get it. And I'll continue with my Hearthstone Let's Play so that you all can enjoy it. And I really recommend playing this game because it brings up a lot of different topics that are really important. Yeah? I hope you enjoyed. This is Micah, signing out.